in connection to what has been said, particularly with my colleague, my brother, who I used to talk to in events. It was in segregation in Attica. And Attica hasn't changed. I want to bring up a member of AFP, is that the acronym? AFJ, I'm sorry, Lumumba. Tyrrell Muhammad. And the reason why I'm bringing him up, come on, man. This crew who we represent, they've been hollering and screaming about closing down Attica. How many years now? 7 years. You know what happened 7 months ago? And Hope has developed his name.
Yes, sir.
Infinite wisdom. She said, I'm not going to let the Lumumba and his gang dictate to me what prisons I'm going to close. The state of New York is closing Comstock. Comstock is one of the roughest prisons in the state of New York. I know did that as was celebrated. Boom, Max. They could have very well said, let's close that. So without further ado.
Before I begin, let's stand up and really celebrate these men and give a round of applause. Because these people have sacrificed and survived the injustice history. And the reason why I began with that, because I benefited from their sacrifice. My name is Tyrrell Muhammad. I spent 27 years and 11 months in New York State Prison. I went to prison in 1979. The things that they sacrificed for education, I was able to benefit from that. The grievance committee, having a process in place where you can now complain, because at one time that was unheard of. I was able to benefit from that. I learned how to negotiate and write policy from being on those committees. The programs that they requested that was eventually let in helped many of us who came behind them. But I came behind them like 11 years afterwards. And I went to Attica. And I was in Attica from 82 to 84. And you really thought you went back in time. You thought you was in the antebellum period. Driving to the town of Attica, all I seen was American flags and what they call foreign legion posts, American legion posts. Was another word. And the officers there, they didn't have white officers when they were there. When I went there, they didn't have them either. A 10, 11-year span. Conditions remaining the same, they're not changing. The only thing changed was the cosmetics, but the condition remained. I came home in 2005. Was blessed to get a unique job. I work for an organization that's over 175 years old, called the Correctional Association of New York. And my job was to go in and to investigate and monitor the same conditions and abuse that I had endured. Very unique. And doing that work, again, you would think after I come home, I've been home now, 19 years, the conditions would change. Far from it. Not only has it gotten worse because the prison is falling down, but the men are getting sicker. The environment is now killing them. The water, many of the men have H. pylori now. They're developing Crohn's diseases. They're being released undiagnosed. So a lot of men coming home and they're not diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And when they get home after 90 days or 4 months, they got stage 4. These are the things that's happening today, not 1971. You got over 3,000 cameras inside of Attica. And they put them in there to prevent the abuse. And you would think with 3,000 cameras, there would be no physical abuse. There's physical abuse and complaints about that every day. More so since the pandemic. Because people couldn't go inside and look and see what was going on. And they were left to their own devices. So mental health is a major problem in there. On both sides. Regular health problems, just going to sick hall and seeing a dentist is far-fetched. You might see a dentist 3 years from now. You'd be walking around with acid in your mouth. This is the 21st century. And we still have barbaric conditions in our prisons. And this is why we're calling on to close Attica. Because Attica is a symbol of everything wrong with American criminal justice system. If you could put people in prison and forget about them and treat them really like dogs, I won't talk to you. In Attica, they didn't talk to you. I never experienced that. They banged on the gate and you had to know what each knock meant. They had a rule book. Ain't nobody ever read the rule book because they had a rule book and they had their rules. And you could never follow the rules because you was always out of order, always out of place. So you were subject all the time to some kind of abuse. All the time to some kind of jeering and nigging and poking and pushing and prodding every day. It got to the point when I was there, many of the men remember the riot, the rebellion. This is in '82. And we decided to have a prison shut down. Instead of going into the yard, we just refused to come out. And we fed each other. And in doing that, we built solidarity. And what we found out was this. They cooked the best food that they had when we were shut down to entice us to come out to eat. And we refused to come out to eat. They even lowered the commissary prices, offering 2 for 1, because the products were small. These are the things we found out. And in finding out these things, we became strong. And we started making demands ourselves. We wanted more Black and Latino officers there. There were none. They tried to. I'm going to tell you what happened. It was a balky decision. A legal decision came down, and the guy there was balky. Reverse discrimination. The Department of Corrections went to Rochester and Buffalo to hire Blacks and Latinos to bring them in Attica. They didn't last 6 months. There were fights in the parking lot. There were rapes inside the prison. And you remember now, if you take a correctional officer job, in less than a year, you own OJT, on-the-job training. So you can't complain, or you're gonna get fired. So people had to endure and suffer. It got to the point that it was really rumbling in the parking lot, that the Department of Correction had to buy a city jail called Windy. It was a city jail, and they had to make it a state facility. And then they sent the Black and Latinos staff to that facility. So it wouldn't work. Even today, you can go in Wyoming County and you have a hard time even purchasing your Pepsi Cola up in there. 21st century. We're housing people in that place there, and we know we're dealing with supreme racism. We're housing human beings there knowing that they're going to suffer. We have to close Attica. We have to not wait another 53 years. Truth cross to the earth, always going to rise. And the truth of the matter is, there was a massacre. And there wasn't no 39 people killed, it was hundreds. And those people died unnecessarily because they just wanted respect and treated like men. In order to be treated like a man in America, you have to be shot down. It's a new day, and it's a new dilemma. And you got new people on the horizon, young people who are doing this work. I do this work because of them. I do this work because of them. I do this work is because it's the right thing to do. I don't have no agenda. All I'm trying to do is the right thing by these men in this day and time. Join on to this campaign to close Attica, and I thank you.